Hello everyone, this is Zooc, and today I'm doing a Kobold from World of Warcraft. I haven't done a WoW creature in quite a long time, so I figured it was about time I switched it up from StarCraft and Warhammer. I was getting pretty bored of those games myself, so I picked the Kobold because I figured everyone knows the Kobold. Everyone's encountered it throughout their travels in Azeroth. Everyone should be familiar with it. Now a little background info on what the creature is based off of. The Kobold is supposed to be a creature in Germanic folklore. However, there are many derivations of that word and various forms of it that have been used in throughout the entire Europe. So it's very popular. It's sort of like a fairy, if you want to put it like that. It's not an evil creature. It's sometimes it comes in the form of a child, other times it's mixed between animal and human. So sometimes they're very helpful, you know, they help with chores and stuff. So the Germanic cultures believed that the Kobold was sort of an unseen presence in their homes. So I guess that's why they made it look like a rat in some cases that just spends all their lives in tunnels, and that's the form that Blizzard went with as well to depict this creature. A lot of Blizzard creatures are actually based off of creatures in folklore that a lot of people probably don't know about. I had no idea personally. You know, I thought it was made up, but I did my homework and I found that it was based off a real thing. So that's kind of interesting. But the reason I chose the Kobold also is because I wanted to try out my stylus. And if you're wondering what that is, I made a video about it on my channel, if you're watching this somewhere else, where I explain what the stylus does and what it's used for, and how to make one. So it's quite easy to make one, and at this point I consider it an invaluable tool because, as you can see right there, the beard looks really good, and that beard would be extremely difficult to achieve with just pure pencil work. You might not see all the details, but in reality it's even better. It looks even better than on camera obviously. So what the stylus does, just a quick recap, is it makes indentations in the paper. So when you run with your pencil over it, it'll produce a white outline. And that's very useful for very fine detail and hair, especially hair. It's awesome. Really, I should have used it before. It just didn't cross my mind, and from now on I will be using it on a lot of tech stuff and even organic. For example, in this drawing I use it to create texture like on the eyebrows. You know how old people have wrinkly eyebrows? I figured it would look good on a Kobold as well, and on the nostrils and on the front of its snout. So I used it in a lot of places. Right now I'm doing the nostrils, and in this drawing I tried a bit of a different technique. I always have the tendency to press too hard on my pencil, and once you start doing that you can't really stop. I either have to erase or keep doing it, and most of the time I just end up doing it on the whole drawing, so it just looks too dark. I keep looking at some of my older drawings and it's hard to even get an outline of things because the shading is just so intense that the outline sort of it gets lost in the drawing. But here I tried to be as light as possible with the pencil, and I think it worked out really well because on the face, you know, there's a lot of detail. You can see that it's very fine, it's very nice, it looks very good, but you know, I didn't go past like 50% gray on most of the face, except maybe for the ear, because it has to have a bit of depth, or maybe the nostrils as well. As for the rest, I was just extremely light with it, and thankfully my camera picks it up, and also these pencils are great for that as well because they have a more intense coloring. So you can see the stitches under its arm there. I used the stylus for those as well. Just make small indentations in the paper and then just run the pencil over it once, and you create a stitch with a highlight and sort of a shadow. So those would be a pain to shade with just the pencil. As for the hands, I didn't have any reference for the pose, so the pose I made up myself. I had a reference for the face, but that's about it. But the hands look a bit rigid, especially the right one. The fingers look a bit too straight. I noticed that after I had finished, because I was like really into it, so I didn't really pay attention to this stuff. But I still think it looks acceptable. At least the hand, it looks okay. It's not that bad. I use the stylus a lot for the nails to just give it the impression of, you know, that they're scratched and dirty and nasty from all the digging this guy's been doing. And another thing that was sort of challenging on the hands was estimating where the folds would come, because you know, when you wear a glove and you make a fist around an object or a stick, whatever, there will be folds that go all over the place. So those are kind of difficult to guess where they go, but just, you know, keep trying and erasing if it doesn't work out. As for the patch on the left hand, I use the same thing I did for the stitches under its arm, like making the lines with the stylus first and then running the pencil over them to give the impression that the, you know, the rope is three-dimensional, or the string that ties him. Now I'm just doing the rag under its around its waistline. I didn't really go into a lot of other detail with the body because I just wanted to get the face right and get the hands right, and that sort of semi-failed, but it's okay. I need to stop complaining about it. And I changed the legs, the anatomy of the legs. Kobold has very humanoid-like legs, you know, very short, stumpy legs, sort of like a child. But in this drawing, I gave it a bit more animalistic legs, so to say, with the large joint going in the back, and they sort of look like dog's legs. So, just to give it a bit of a savagery, I would say. So around its foot, there's a cloth sort of just wrapping around, and the toe is sticking out with the sharp nails from all the walking and everything he's been doing. Just doing the handle there that's covered in some strips of rags, and now I'm getting to the pickaxe, making sure that I give it a random wood texture, and also making sure that I give it a core shadow so it looks right. And as for the pickaxe, I didn't really detail it a lot. I just gave the impression of it, so it still looks okay. And of course, a kobold wouldn't be a kobold without a backpack. Since they're miners, they need a place to keep their stuff. Very simple, just drawing a few folds there, drawing the highlights, and just then the lid over the backpack. And that's about it. I think it looks good. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Bye.